Hey everybody, welcome back to the Okie Dokie Off-Grid Homestead. We are located in southeast Oklahoma, and being that we are off-grid, and in Oklahoma, we rely a lot on water. Water is probably one of the most valuable things on a homestead or in a house on the grid, anything. So today I wanted to walk you through and show you our rainwater collection setup. There's been several questions on that on our YouTube channel and on Facebook with some family and friends. So I wanted to put this video together to show you guys exactly what we have and the extra steps that we go through to make sure that our family has water for the homestead. Alright guys, so first I wanted to show you the structures that we have that are hooked up to the catchment tanks for the rainwater. Behind me is a makeshift shed that the previous owners built when they first moved here, and they put a camper in it and they stayed in that for a few years until they started building the house. So this shed is roughly 20 by about 36 feet or so. So the square footage is about 700 square feet of roof. Now up on the roof we also have our two rows of solar panels, but as you can see off this corner here, we actually have the PVC pipe that are connected as downspouts for the gutters, and they come together here and they go into our catch tank. The catch tank is black. It wasn't painted black, it's actually black plastic. That makes sure it blocks out all the sun to make sure we don't have algae growth in the tank, and also in the winter time it'll keep it from freezing as quickly, I guess, if it gets cold. Of course, this last winter that we just came through, where we hit -11 without the wind chills, which is crazy for Oklahoma. This tank actually froze about half the way up. Well, I guess from middle up to the top it had frozen. So they will freeze, but they give a little bit, so we didn't have any issues with that. We actually got very lucky with our preparations for the hard cold coming, and we're able to keep the ball valves from freezing and busting, so that's important. But I'm going to show you how we well, actually, before I show you any of that, I'm going to show you the other building that we have, how it catches the water, or how it's set up pretty much the same way. And then I'll show you where we hook up our pump to pump the water to our storage tanks. So this is building number 2 that we have a water catchment hooked up on. As you can see, we have the PVC pipe coming from the front of the building to the back, where the two sets of gutters meet, and then it drops down into another 1,100 gallon tank over here on the side, and it also has the what do you call that, first flush, I guess, for the tank, to make sure we get all the pine needles and the dirt and dust out of the water. It'll settle in there first. So let's go up here, we'll check out this tank, and we'll also look at the pumping setup that we have. So as you can see, this is where the two pipes converge from the gutters and runs down with another pipe that comes over into our water tank. So this is what we call the first flush. This 6-inch pipe is completely filled with water, and the purpose of it is, it takes the first, I don't even know how many gallons, maybe 10 gallons or so off of the roof that goes through the gutters. It'll wash the gutters, it gets all the bird poop, the pine needles, which there's a lot of pines around, and it also gets all the dust and dirt, takes that off the roof, and it gets down into here. That'll sink and settle, and then the water will level off right here at the bottom of this elbow and then start pouring into here. So it's important after every rain to come out here and wash or dump this out to keep it from overflowing and to keep the dirt trapped in the bottom where we want it, so that it doesn't get in our house water. So let's see if I can do this without getting soaking wet. So that's emptied out, and now we'll set this back up on here, back on the cinder block to hold it. And then as you can see, our tank is pretty much full to the top. It lacks about 6 inches from being full to the complete top. So I'm going to put the lid back on it. Let me turn you around here just a little bit. I'm gonna put the lid back on. I'm not gonna screw it on just yet, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna hook this up, back up to the catch, or the flush valve, flush pipe, and stick that back in there, and it's set up and ready to go. So now I want to show you how I'm pumping this water, how we're harvesting this water. This tank it's an 1,100 gallon tank. So and it's set up on a 28 by 40 foot roof. Front and back are both guttered. So I did some figuring, and there is a rainwater, you can do a rainwater calculator, or harvest calculator. It'll figure out your square footage of your roofs and how much rain you can collect. So if we, with the house, the shed over here to the side, and this big shed here, at the rate of an inch per hour, we're harvesting over 1,600 gallons of water an hour, or per inch, with our setup now. So it doesn't take very long to fill these tanks up, and even the one at the house, it's a 1,700 gallon tank that's buried. It fills up pretty quick. So what we do is, once these are empty, or full, I mean, we'll pump these up to a storage container, or storage tanks at the top of the hill above the homestead here. And then we have multiple yard hydrants that are plumbed, or piped. This water is piped too, so we use it for the animals. If we hit a dry spell, we can also put it straight into the tank at the house with a garden hose, which we've done several times. But let me show you how we get this water pumping, and then I'll take you up the hill and we'll look at our storage tanks. So at each storage tank, or each catch tank, we have the pipes. This tank's up the hill from us, so it's fed down into this pipe. It comes in here, and it'll hit another pipe here, and it turns and goes up the hill. So being that we are completely off the grid, we pretty much only on sunny days pump water. We got a pretty German Shepherd. This is Jax, by the way. I don't think you all have met him. We got him back in October, and we really weren't even doing many videos back then. So anyway, that was my birthday present from Sedgel. So you get out of the way for me. All right. So we've got I think it's it's either a 1 or a 1.5 horse pump that we pump water with, and we've got 2 valves down in here that Jack thinks he needs to get in here and help. Come on, son. Get back. So we got these 2 valves. I'm gonna go ahead and open them up, and that's gonna release water actually from uphill. It'll start backfilling into that tote, or into that catch tank, because of the gravity. So I'm gonna plug the pump in, and we're gonna check it and make sure that it starts pumping. Now this will probably take about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to completely empty this tank into the storage tank. So I'm just going to go up here and check, and I kind of got an idea, where the water was when we started. That's why I didn't secure the lid on yet. But we'll go up here and check and make sure that the water is drawing down, and then we'll know it's pumping. And then we'll walk up and we'll show you the storage tanks. Alright, as you can see, the water was up to about here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, it is slowly draining, so the pump is working as it should. So now we're going to put this lid back on and tighten it up, because I don't want debris or birds or bugs any more than necessary to get in there. And we will walk up to the top of the hill and we'll show you the storage tanks. Okay, you can see that's where we were just standing with all of the water catchment tanks. And then if we pan around up to here, that is our storage tanks. So let's walk up there and see what we got. As y'all can see, these tanks are, I don't don't know, 7.5 foot tall. They're 2,500 gallon tanks. There's 3 of them here for 7,500 gallons of storage. Each tank down at the bottom, you can, I don't know if you can see the tarps. Yeah, you can see the tarps. So under these tarps is where they're plumbed in, piped in. Each one has a ball valve, and what happens is there's a splitter out here where it goes to all 3 of them. So all 3 will feed one hydrant, and when I open it, all 3 are receiving the water as I'm pumping it up here. So they will all fill evenly. Now, this one's pretty close to the top, so I assume the other ones are as well. The ball valves down at the bottom are very important, and the biggest reason they're important is, for instance, is this past winter when we had these extremely cold temperatures. We came up and we turned 2 of the valves, or 2 of the tanks off, turned the ball valves off, in case the water lines burst, froze and bust in the ground. That way we didn't lose all of our water at once. We only had 1 tank open, and actually that 1 tank held pretty well. Sorry for the wind, I can't do anything about it. But luckily the 1 tank handled all of our wintertime needs. What we did do for the cold temperatures coming was we got some bales of straw. We laid down on the ball valves. Well, actually, before we did that, we had bubble wrap that we wrapped the ball valves in the exposed pipe, and it was wrapped in bubble wrap and black plastic to draw heat from the sun. And then we laid down a bale of straw over it and actually built it up enough to where, you know, it's about 1 foot deep with the straw. We put a tarp over it to help hold the straw down from the wind, and also to help hold in any heat. I mean, it's not a real thick tarp, so it's not going to hold in a ton of heat, or, you know, but it's going to keep all that straw right there. And it actually worked perfectly. Our lines did freeze in the ground. The tanks never froze, but our lines did not bust. All of the hydrants have been working now for a month. So thank the Lord for that, because what a blessing that was. I'm not sure distance-wise or length-wise how much pipe there would be to dig up, but I can tell you that it was a whole lot more than, well, a foot is more than I want to dig up, but it's a whole lot more than I wanted to tackle, and I was dreading, but by the grace of God, when everything thawed out, the hydrant started working too. So, but as I was saying before, this is uphill just a little bit of elevation change, but the gravity feeds all these hydrants, and it works amazingly well. So that is it's about a lot of wind. So that is about all that I think that I need to show. The only thing extra that I'll tell you is that if we take water straight from the hydrant to the house with a garden hose, I do add bleach to the water. I think it's a quart of bleach, or 1/3 of a gallon of bleach for every 1,000 gallons of water. So I will add it to that, because it sits here and it kind of gets stale, I guess, and it will kill anything that's in it. That's still, you can't taste the bleach, don't know it's there. It's still a lot less than what you're getting in your municipal water supply. But anyway, so that's all I've got to show you. If you have any questions or comments, or want to see anything else to do with the water setup, comment below, let me know, and we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.